Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the J.P. Peterson Show. We are back in the Jeeves Law Group studio in beautiful South Tampa. My man, IndyCar Tim Ham, is at our Dallas affiliate, FanStream Sports DFW. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you?
I am doing well today, JP. It's sort of a weird day for Rays fans, right? Like, you get robbed on a horrible call, but you go on to win the game. You had your new relief pitcher debut in strong fashion in the game.
A lot of good stuff.
Things going on. Bucs they're done with what they're doing, but we got 6 weeks to talk about what they did in playing flag underwear football out there.
Well, they've reshaped their roster a bit, and we're going to get into that. Where does that roster rank in the NFL, NFC South, et cetera? Because I think it's being underranked, which I think actually is good for them. So we'll get into that. Probably you didn't get a chance to talk about the U.S. Open, which was interesting in so many ways. So we'll hit that as well. Lots to get to as we and of course your incredible comments, which are already coming in here this morning. Thank you guys. Mike H is up and ready to go, as is Drew Jetson. So thank you guys for jumping in. Any comments, questions, whatever you got, bring them to us. You can do that on Twitter. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that on YouTube. We love you guys being a part of the show. So quite simply, Tim Ham, the Rays are the best team in baseball right now. They are scorching hot. They've got the best record in the league since May 20th. Since May 19th, they're 19-6. They lead the AL wildcard chase. Last week, I think they were plus 5,000 to win the AL East. I told you to put a little scratch on that. I put a little scratch on it myself. I bet those odds have come down dramatically because they were 6 games back at that point. I believe they're 3.5 now?
They are 2.5 games back to the Yankees right now.
How about that?
Yeah, because we were talking about last week, or it was early last week maybe, that was before that because it was before they went on this incredible run because they were 6.5 games back in third place, and I was like, man, you can't fall much farther than this, right? Or you're gonna put yourself out of position here. And now they've gone on this tremendous tear. Yankees have lost 4 in a row. The Rays have won 4 in a row during this incredible streak. And man, you are right there. And plus, not to mention, not just 2.5 games behind the Yankees for the lead, you're 4 games in front of Toronto for third place.
Yeah, and the wild card definitely secured.
You are separating yourself
as of right now. Yeah, so this is all good stuff. It's great stuff. And what we're going to get into today is how they're doing it. And they're doing it with something that we haven't seen in quite some time. They're bunting the ball. They're playing a lot of small ball. They lead the league in stolen bases. So I think, when the rules changed, the Rays were like, okay, we've kind of lost our edge a little bit for taking advantage of the rule changes. We were the first to heavily do the shifts. So they changed the rule, change us out of that, the starter, the openers, all these things. So now the rules have changed. How are we going to take advantage of this? Well, the bases are bigger. You've got the disengagement rules at first base. So they're trying to get running back into the game. So why don't we take advantage of that? Why don't we put together a super fast team, a super fast athletic team, and go out there and steal a shit ton of bases and put a lot of pressure on the defense? And that's what they've done this year. And, Mangum is becoming one of my favorite players, just because of the way I love the way he plays the game. It's all out. He just gets contact, just get the ball in play and try to throw me out at first base. And boy, when they get Chandler Simpson back here, they can really start playing this type of baseball. And it's got to be part of the plan. Boy, it just puts so much pressure on the pitcher, on the defense, that I think going into games, teams are like, okay, here's, all right, we got to do this. We got to change the way we hold runners on. They start changing things, and that stuff just gets in your head.
Right.
And last night you saw Josh Lowe bunting, and we'll show that plain to say, and definitely getting on, and some umpire shenanigans going on. We're going to talk about that. You saw Christopher Morel bunting, which I'm all for, because every time he swings out of his shoes. But even he's starting to add a little something to the offense. He was a career 3 for 6 against Eflin coming in, so he was 9th in the lineup. That worked out well. That seems like, okay, there's a reason for him being in the lineup. He hits Zach Eflin really well, who ended up giving up 12 hits, a career high for him, which was, the Rays obviously know him well, and they took advantage of it. And they got the ball in play, and they scored 7 runs again. I mean, they're averaging 6 runs a game. They in the first quarter of the season, this team was averaging about 3.6 runs per game. They're now averaging 6 runs per game.
That's ridiculous.
That have you ever seen that before within a season?
No.
Have you ever? No, that is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
And what have they done? Well, they, it started when Chandler Simpson came up, and then they've continued. Josh Lowe being added to the lineup certainly has helped things. Brandon Lau getting in one of his hot streaks is going to carry a team. He hit a bomb last night, another bomb. Caminero is, he was in a rut, and he, whatever they did in the Dominican Republic, he got back with his old hitting coach and sacrificed some live chickens or whatever the hell they did. He is now just smoking the ball, and he's disciplined himself. He's taking his walks. So now that he's taking his walks, teams are like, yeah, now we got to come in the strike zone to this guy. Yeah. And that's not going to end well for the other team. So there's a lot of things. And then just the way they are putting the ball in play is crazy. Here's one last night. This is Jake Mangum. He did this twice last night when he was down in the count, just swinging and getting the ball. One was a chopper to second that he beat out, like to second base, a chopper to second that he beat out in a key situation. I think this is the other one. Let's see if I got 2 of him doing his thing last night. So let me see. And he also had a double down the line. So Jake Mangum last night. Oh no, this is Josh Lowe getting us off to a good start. You get the leadoff home run. And by the way, check out the numbers on this one. 4th home run, 9 RBIs for the season. Obviously injured most of the year. Yeah. 334 exit velo, 97 launch angle, 43%. And Zach Eflin, and I don't know if this affected him, but when you give up a homer like that, which is basically a fly ball in any any park. This is the only park that's going. Hey, credit Josh Lowe for doing what he had to do. They know he's got a short porch. He knows if he gets a ball up in the air, it's probably going to go out. So credit him. But for a pitcher, he's got to be thinking, are you kidding me? I just gave up a leadoff home run on that. Are you freaking kidding me?
338 feet with an under 100 mile per hour exit velocity.
I mean, he's got to be like, what? That really pisses pitchers off. I mean, if you don't know, that pisses pitchers off.
Yeah.
So did that get in his head a little bit as he gives up a career high 12? I don't know. Maybe it did. And then Mangum with 3 hits last night. This one, I love this. Look at that. Scores a run. Not even close. Numbnuts there at first base. Not even.
He's going to call him out.
Yeah. I'm shocked he didn't. Yeah. See if we can see this again.
Ball back into right.
No, that's the wrong one. But that chopper, he just makes contact. It gets the ball in play. He's playing a hell of a center field as well, with great range. And his speed is just constantly giving problems to the other team. So I just love that. And then you got the fact that he gets the ball in play down the line as well. There's another RBI. 3 hits. Just curving the ball out to left field.
Mangum is in at second.
2-run double there that puts the game out of reach. 3 hits for Mangum. Just the way this team is playing travels. Great defense. That was their 36th quality start last night. We haven't talked about Ryan Pepiot. Career high, 11 strikeouts last night. He is becoming so confident in the way he pitches to what's been a pretty hot lineup for the Orioles as of late. And he gives up 1 home run to Ali Rushman, which, by the way, would have been a fly out to in any other ballpark. This is the only ballpark. So we had 1-for-1 there. Josh Lowe and Rushman's, both of those would have been fly outs in every other ballpark. So but that's okay. Pepiot gives up 1 run, his 10th quality start of the year. And the Rays lead the league with 36 quality starts. And he now has finally getting some support and winning games. His ARA down to 3.11. So he has become, I think, an absolute bona fide number 1 ace for this team. Now, if he gets any type of run support, I think he's had the second least run support. He's got, he's a 6, 7, 8, 9 game winner at this point. Yeah. That's just not the way it's gone for him, but that's baseball.
It looks to me like he's becoming a little more comfortable pitching at Steinbrenner Field. He started the season, he had a no decision to start the year. Then he went 1-3 at home. He didn't have a good record through the Yankees series in late April. Mm-hmm. Since then, he's won 2 in a row. He's had 3 no decisions, but he's won 2 in a row to take it up to 3-3 at home. He's got a 3.25 ERA at home, 60 strikeouts in 10 appearances. So it looks like he's becoming a little more comfortable at Steinbrenner, and that's just going to help throughout the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And this whole pitching staff is becoming more comfortable at Steinbrenner. And we kind of knew that would happen, right? They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Kyle Snyder's the best in the business. Good morning to you, Ryan. I don't know if I've seen him in here before, but thanks for joining us. Said it also helps when the catching position isn't a total black hole offensively. Jansen and Theis have been good during this. You're absolutely right. Both have, but Jansen has been absolutely incredible, hitting key home runs the other night in New York in that comeback win on Friday night. A couple of big hits over the weekend. So Jansen really has been so much better. God, and he was terrible early on, and I don't even want to talk. He won't even mention the catcher, that other catcher. God bless him. Ben's hope he's still spending that Yankees and Rays money well. But yeah, that's helped out tremendously. Now, here's another one. Where's that? Somebody's saying, I can't wait till Kim comes back. I'm like, I got news for you. This shortstop position is suddenly really offensive for the Rays. In the past, during this streak, I think Walls is hitting like over 300. He's been tremendous. Caballero, defensively and offensively, has been tremendous. I'm not sure I want a oft-injured Hassan Kim messing things up. I mean,
he might not crack this lineup right away when he comes back.
I don't think he can. I mean, obviously, the Rays medical staff is trying to screw this up as much as they possibly can. Because he went, once again, I guess he hurt his hamstring. He's close to coming back on the shoulder, and then he hurt his hamstring. I say that tongue in cheek. Obviously, the medical staff can't. I don't know what the hell the training and medical staff is doing. It seems every time they tell us something, it becomes something different. I don't know if this is. I don't cover other baseball teams as closely, so I don't know if this is just part of the business. But man, it just seems like the Rays medical staff and training staff just can't keep this team healthy, can't keep pitchers healthy.
That's everywhere, JP. That is happening.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Yeah. I know for pitchers it is, but
and don't forget Caballero co-leads the league in stolen bases too. So he's sort of an asset on the base paths. You don't want to yank him out right now.
And he can play so many other positions too. So I mean, he's such a valuable piece. His athleticism is off the charts. And that's, what this team is. I mean, they've got a bunch of great athletes out there that are really pushing the envelope. And again, it's like, I know I keep harping on this Chandler Simpson thing, but I just think he's such an asset, and that, especially to be able to pinch run and even hit late in games and get on base paths and 1-run games and just create havoc. He's good. He's going to be part of the future, and I think it's going to be really, really good. So, all right, let's get to this shenanigans last night. So this is Josh Lowe laying down a bunt, and this would have been bases loaded, 1 out, turns into second and third, 2 outs, and then the inning ended. They only got 1 run out of it, I think. But look at this call at first base.
I mean, this isn't even going to be close.
Thank you, Brian.
Not. That ball's not even close to the glove.
How do you blow that call? That ball is 10 feet away from the first baseman. When Lowe is hitting, I mean, look at that. That is insane.
Close.
Maybe he missed the bag.
That ball's not even close to the glove.
Goodness.
Look at the umpire, though. I forget who the guy is, and maybe we'll leave his name out.
I mean, this isn't even going to be close. That ball's not even close to the glove.
One of our listeners put this up on Twitter, suggested this because I hadn't thought of this, believe it or not. Conspiracy theories that I love.
Right.
So in the first inning, that same umpire blew a call at first base on a pickoff play where Pepiot got the guy by a whisker, I thought, called him safe. So we go to a review, which lasted a ridiculous amount of time. I don't know what the time was, but it seemed like 3 hours. So they go to a review, and they come back with call stance. And Brian and Dwayne were both like, and I think you could clearly see that the tag had come down before he got there. It was a little hard because you couldn't tell from some angles. Now, of course, they build the mosaic in wherever New York or wherever, and they could tell exactly when the glove hit the hand. But it looked like to me that he was clearly out, I thought. And then they come back and they go call stance. So now I'm thinking back to it because this can't happen.
I mean, this isn't even going to be close.
Like that is not. And when you watched it live, it was just like ridiculous. It was even more ridiculous live. I mean, it was
in real speed too. Yeah,
in real speed, it just wasn't even close. And these guys are so good on these bang bang plays. I mean, how many times have you said, "Oh, that guy's safe," and then they replay it and like, "Oh yeah, he got the call right. He was out." Yeah. They are so good at these plays. You can't miss it like that unless you have ulterior motives.
That is bad.
So do you think this guy, it's hot out there, he's a little chubby. I don't know, he's a little chubby. It's hot out there. Fat guy's probably like, oh, you serious? I got the call right. You serious? I got it right.
Watch. It's too hot for baseball.
Yeah. You freaking manage Kevin Cash. You gonna challenge me on this one? Because this is how a lot of these older umpires are.
Oh, yeah.
They're just arrogant asses, to be quite honest. Oh, you're gonna challenge me? Okay. Wait till we get another close play at first. Because you're out of challenges, pal. You're out of challenges. And they can't do crew chief review until the 8th inning. Mm-hmm. So he knows any call he makes is gonna stand. And there's nothing you can do about it. You think we got shenanigans going on there?
So here's my initial response.
F you to Kevin Cash? Because at this point, I do.
See, here's my initial response to that.
F you.
I would like to think that that's a ridiculous presumption and that stuff like that
would too. Right.
Never, ever happens. But at the same time, like,
how do you miss that?
That was just bad. That was inexcusable.
How do you miss that by that much?
It's not. That ball's not even close to the glove.
Goodness.
Have you ever in your life seen a Major League Baseball umpire miss one like that? Yes or no? No.
Oh, I've seen it.
I've never seen it. I've never seen an umpire miss one that bad.
Pretty rare. It's pretty rare.
I had never seen that in my life.
I just don't like where he's standing. I don't think that's a great position to make that call.
But they're always standing there. That's
I know.
That's the position. They're listening for the pop of the glove and looking for the foot.
Well, he clearly can't tell the difference.
He's already in his out mode. He's already in his out mode.
Yeah.
Before he's made the call, before it's even made, before he's even seen it. I mean, look at him. He's already calling him out. Wow. True.
I mean, he's on the bag already. That's inexcusable. And how come umpires don't have to answer questions from the media?
I guess what do they do? That pool reporting bullshit?
Yeah, where is it the league that picks which reporters get to talk to them, and then it's not broadcast, but they can report on it or whatever. It's
fact
weird.
That he knows that they're out of challenges.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. And by the way, great job by Kevin Cash getting in between Josh Lowe and the umpire. Because Josh Lowe was just like, are you freaking kidding me?
And he was right.
Are you freaking kidding me? And these are things that happen in games. This is kind of the subtext of baseball that doesn't really get talked about publicly. Because yes, umpires hold grudges against managers 100%. Same way. Players know certain umpires hold grudges against certain players. That umpires don't like getting shown up. It's a big, big part of the culture of baseball. Umpires don't like being challenged. They don't like it when you challenge one of their calls. Now, let's just point this out. Kevin Cash, you can't be challenging that call in the first inning. It's a nothing call. It's a nothing call. If he blows the call, you can't lose your challenge for the rest of the game. And now I think he'll probably see, not just because things might happen, but because you might have shenanigans from an umpire. who has a bug up his ass because he's got an umpire outside in a hot game, and you've challenged him and made him stand out there for 5 minutes, and he, quote, got the call right.
Or look, here's another thought, JP, because the NFL finally adopted this from the old XFL, where an official can say that's watching from New York or from the replay booth in the stadium,
replay assist.
Hey, you know what? You guys might have bounced that call. Let's double. Let me take a look at this again. Why can't you? Because you've got umpires and representatives in New York watching every game, just like that. They're watching just like we are, and they ought to have a buzzer where they can buzz down to the home plate umpire or to the crew chief wherever he is, and go, look, this is not even close. We need to reverse this.
Well, you know who doesn't like that?
The umpires.
The umpires reunion. Absolutely.
Yes,
and they're a very powerful union.
Just get the call right. That's what the umpires
they don't
union
care
should
about
be
that.
worried about.
The umpires union is more about the umpires looking good and not looking bad.
And that's why
they care about.
That's why they're about to be out of the game.
That's right. And it's because of shit like this.
Yep.
Because there, in my mind, there is no doubt. And I guarantee if you pull Josh Lowe and Kevin Cash off to the side, they go, yeah, that's that guy. He's that guy. I think there's a lot of younger umpires in the league that get it. But I think a lot of these older umpires are still like, yeah, I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the show. Yeah. You guys, you just listen to what I say. And he seems like one of those guys to me.
Look, and I don't feel like if you had replay assist in baseball, like you'd have it every game or you'd have it, whatever. I don't think it would be very often that you had it, which is why I think you need it more. In a situation just like that, where it is painfully obvious to everyone watching on TV and everyone on the field that was a massively blown call.
Yeah.
And thankfully it didn't have anything to do with the outcome of the game.
Right.
But it could have.
It could have. Absolutely. That's bases loaded, 1 out instead of 2 outs, second and third.
Yep.
I mean, that's at least 1 run, probably more, the way Eflin was going. And the Rays were putting, bunts down, and you got the meat of the lineup coming up. You got the meat of bases loaded, 1 out. Now, we've seen the Rays dispose of that quite quickly at times, but they've been really good lately. That could be a 2, 3, 4 run mistake right there. Luckily, they get a line drive, and they doubled them off anyway in the inning, as it were, when the call they blew in the first. All the more reason not to challenge. But so I think Kevin Cash maybe, realizes he can't waste a challenge there. So I'll put that on the Rays. But I think this is the reason why. It gives the umpires too much power to screw you. And they know it. And they freaking know it. I swear, I've never seen a call that bad at first base in that situation.
It's bad. That was bad.
So to me, I got to say to myself, is there something else going on here? And then you start connecting the dots. And that happens. That happens all the time at the plate, right? You show up an umpire, especially with the older guys. You can the pitcher knows I can throw this 3 feet outside. It's going to be a strike. And it is. How many times have we seen that? How many times? So these umpires have it in their head. They've done it before. I know I'm probably making way too much of this, but
You want to talk about the worst blown call in the history of Major League Baseball at first base? Go ask Armando Galarraga.
Yeah.
Back in 2010 when he lost a perfect game.
Showed some remorse about that.
He did, dude. He did. And that next day he came out and you saw Galarraga brought the lineup right to home plate where Jim Joyce was for that game. And they shook hands and it was all good. And that's how it should have been in that situation. But it should have never happened.
It changed the game for the better forever. We finally got replay because of that. Because before that, the umpires union would not allow it.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
The umpires union would not allow it. And then when that happened, they couldn't stop it. And that's a good thing. So, the sooner we get a lot of these old guard umpires out, the better. What's that?
That play was a lot closer than this one. I mean, you were only about a foot off, but it was one
yes.
You should have got, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. These guys are so good at first base. Mm-hmm. I think they're like Jedi Warrior good. Right? So many times they get it right when I think they got it wrong. But that one, in fast motion, it was ridiculous. And then when you slow it down, you're like, I said, I can't wait till we see this in replay because this is going to look really bad on this umpire. And then I was even surprised how far that ball was 10 feet away. I've never seen one even close to that. which suggests shenanigans.
That was bad.
Mike H says the ball was at least 6 feet away.
Yeah.
I think you're
You're
right.
right, Mike.
The 6-foot rule coming into play once again. Mike H said before the season, we asked who the biggest surprise would be. It has to be Aranda, even though he had high expectations for him. But now 5th in average and a lock for the All-Star game. Mangum would be the other one. You know, Aranda was always, to me, kind of as I was screaming to bring him up, you know, for years and years, because you go look at his minor league numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shizbang. This guy could hit anywhere he could hit. And every time he came up, he just seemed overwhelmed, especially by the fastballs. But he finally figured it out. And now he's got, God, he's so good. Like, of all, you know, you could talk about Caminero, and I think he's going to be a superstar. But, you know, somebody hit me up on Twitter saying we got to sign him to a 12-year contract. I'm like, all right, whoa, tap the brakes a little bit. I love the kid, and I think he's going to be great. But, you know, he's a power hitter. We've already seen him, you know, some ebbs and flows, but he's so young. I mean, he could be an absolute superstar, but let's tap the brakes a little bit. Aranda, to me, is even a more sure bet. Not as much power, but he just, you know, he looks to me like all like a Tino Martinez, you know, a guy that's, you know, and he'll grow into first base defensively. I think he's going to make himself, because he's a good defender. He's always been a good defender. Well, I think he's going to become a really good first baseman. But, you know, we got Isaac Howard on the way, who's a power hitting first baseman, but, you know, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. No question about it when you got guys like this. So, man, I mean, this guy, I think, is going to be a 10, 12, 15-year major leaguer who hits over 300. And I think he'll have a career 300 average, which is not easy to do in this league. I just think unless he gets hurt, his eyes, his approach, he uses all fields, great strike zone. Bat, he always gets the bat in the middle of hits the ball right in the middle of the bat. He's just so freaking good. And I think he's just going to get better. And now he's got confidence going. Yeah, I mean, his numbers right now he's first in almost every category for first baseman. On base, second in the league in on base percentage. He's been outstanding. And I don't think that's going to go away. So, yeah, I think I don't know if he's a surprise, but he surprised me being this good. Like, I knew he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was going to be this good. And in time, he might add a little more power to his game than he has. Mike H. also asked, fire sale last year, Isaac, Randy, Zach, Jason, Aaron, Phil. Yeah, right? Sometimes you have to set fire to promote growth. Well, they needed a culture change. There's no question about that. And I think a lot of those guys leaving was about that. And it was the right thing to do. Drew Jetson said, yeah, we got robbed on that one. You're right. Is that Kenneth McClary said, good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. Go Rays and go Stu Sternberg. I mean, just go, Stu. Just leave. Let the real owner take over. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole today, but you're right. Absolutely right. And I do continue to get signs that things are happening in the background and the sale is moving forward. But I wonder the better they play if the freaking price goes up. Good morning to you, Nathan Elliott. How was your weekend or yesterday? You were with the Bucs rookies at MacDill. I want to report on that, please.
Yeah, we need to have him on to report about who he got and what it was.
Yes. Lonnie Wilkins says it's Aranda versus the Yankees fans in the 51st state to be starting first baseman in the All-Star game. Yeah, come on, Rays fans. Let's get out there and vote him in, you know? I mean, I think he'll make it as a manager's choice, but let's vote him in.
Mm-hmm. It's probably a little more satisfying for the player.
Yeah.
When you get voted in by the fans.
Brandon, this is a great shot. Brandon, no. I hope Eflin enjoyed the crowd last night. So when he left, obviously, he had some shots. But listen, he wasn't wrong. He said he hated pitching in Tropicana Field because it was like a mausoleum.
Yep.
Paraphrasing.
He made fun of the fans a little bit too, right? When he got shipped off, saying after his first was it his first game that he played with the Orioles that he pitched, and he was talking about just how great it is to be playing in front of fans or something like that.
Well, listen, he's right.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. You just missed the move to Tampa. That's all. Sorry. And you were true. I mean, they were on him last night. That's
funny.
Daniel Rivera says, good morning, gentlemen. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but can you imagine postseason baseball at Steinbrenner in October? Yes, I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before. I'll say it again. You cannot take the postseason away from the Rays. You can't do it.
They wouldn't do that, would they?
Oh, Major League Baseball. Yeah.
I don't think they would.
Well, this is the same group of knuckleheads that has the Rays playing in a minor league stadium and the A's as well. You know,
I mean, look, if you
they should have forced Sternberg out a long time ago.
If the Rays were inevitably going to move out of Tampa, out of the area, out of Tampa, St. Pete, right? If they were moving somewhere, then I could see Major League Baseball saying, yeah, you know what? Let's go play him in Atlanta, or let's go play him in Miami or something. Let's go play him somewhere in a Major League ballpark for the postseason, because you're going to alienate the fan base and piss them all off. Well, if you're moving, you don't care about that.
Right.
But if you're not moving the team out of the area, you're not going to do that to the fan base.
Right. No way. And I think, we've talked about this. Let's just come up with some creative ideas. Now, I did say, let's have them take infield, put the infield down. I forgot the Bucs will be playing at that time, so we can't put an infield in there. But you can have the players make an appearance. If you sold tickets at Raymond James Stadium for the postseason game, and so fans could come and watch it on the board together, like a big outdoor sports bar. I think that would be outstanding. It would be so much freaking fun. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's
tailgating.
It's not like we've never played baseball on a football field before in the same season with two teams sharing a stadium.
That's true. That's true.
It's not ideal, but you can do it.
Yeah, my friends at the TSA are like, JP, shut the hell up. We don't want to be changing fields out, you asshole. But the team could come over there and play catch or whatever before the game, come over, do some stuff or run around, so the team
batting practice. You don't need.
Yeah, you don't really need. Yeah, you don't need to. You could do batting practice, sure. Yeah, you could set that up. Absolutely,
awesome.
Do a little batting practice or something. You could just involve them in some way. And if they win the game, they shoot them over there to get welcomed by the big. There's so many creative things you could do, but the thing you can't do is take away postseason baseball for fans that have grossly overpaid for their season tickets because the owner made them. And are losing, they're losing money on the resales. So at least you can't take it away. It's a great story.
I got it. Here's what you do. All of the players, all the Rays players skydive out of an airplane and they parachute over Raymond James Stadium that's full of fans, but they go land inside Steinbrenner Field before the game.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Could we bring the military into play? We get all the paratroopers from MacDill, right? We get the jump team from MacDill.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. They land on the foot. They come in, the jumpers land on the field, and then they, welcome all the fans welcome they bring the ball in over at Raymond James Stadium, and then they run it over. It could be
one of the worst. It could be one of the worst disasters in the history of professional sports. I don't think we need the players
jumping out. Maybe we'll bring the opening pitch ball. Have a professional jumper do that. That might
just throw it out of the airplane, let it land in the infield somewhere. There's your ball.
But no, seriously, organize a big parking lot tailgate party.
Dude, you could do that.
Right across the street. Put up a big stage. The players come over beforehand on the stage, and then hey, Stu, you could sell $12 beers before the game, $20 beers before the game for 2 hours. Think about that. Great idea. Here's the most ridiculous thing I've seen tonight. Where's B's comment here?
Oh, I saw that. About October.
He's out of his. Anyway, he says the Trop will be ready by October. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's 12 feet of standing water in there now as we speak in the dugouts. I don't think it's going to be ready for October.
Can you imagine the smell still going on in there?
It's not good. It's not good. All right, let's take our first break. I want to come back and get them. We got tons of comments coming in. Love you guys. So let's get to the comments after this. We got Bucs talk coming up as well in our second hour. How good is this roster as they have now completed OTAs? This is the group they'll be coming to training camp with. How good is it? Where does it rank in the NFC and the NFC South? Well, we know that. Number one. So we'll talk about that. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. We're here in the Jeeves Law Group studio, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Lots of great results for their clients. So get somebody that's not just going to settle as quick as possible, but somebody that's going to dig into your case and make the insurance companies know you mean business. JeevesLawGroup.com is the website. Go see them there. Tell them JP sent you, not attorney spokesman, offices Tampa and St. Pete. And our first hour is brought to you by On-Site Construction and Restoration. OnSiteConstructionFL.com is the website. Go there, check out all the 5-star reviews, and make sure you get that free consultation and you get on the list. So if there's trouble, if there's another hurricane, you already have a contractor lined up to take care of your business. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Back in 3. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I love talking baseball. I do indeed. We're brought to you by Riveters, by the way. Speaking of baseball, we got long homestand, a couple more Orioles games. We got 2 day games coming up Saturday and Sunday. So head on over to Riveters before or after the game. I've parked there, taking an Uber from there if you want to do that. They don't mind. They got big parking out back, so that's cool. But you got to go in there and have something to eat. Go in there. Otherwise, we're going to get you. Go in. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go in there and enjoy their wings? Freaking unbelievable wings. We were there last week with Johnny Gerber. Had wings. Had the chicken dip, which is buffalo chicken dip, which is fantastic. All the food there is made fresh. The burgers are unbelievable. The ribeye sandwich and the ribeye tacos. Ribeye tacos are fantastic. All of it is so good. It's so good there. Reasonably priced, fresh food, great drinks, and great staff. I can't say that enough. The staff there is fantastic. They just are so attentive. They're well trained, and that makes all the difference in the world, right? They're not there like I've been to so many places where it's like a job, such an absolute trial to come over and get you a drink. They don't do that at Riveters. It's all good. Great atmosphere, great food. So head on over there before or after the games. All right. I want to get to a bunch of these great comments we have coming in. There's so many. Gosh, the numbers are through the roof. People love it.
It's just because of me and what we're looking at right here.
It's cool. John Hill says, good morning. John's from Atlanta. John was at brought the FanStream Sports hat to the AAC all weekend long. Got some great.
Wow.
Picks. Yeah, we got to post those, John. I haven't seen them post or you haven't tagged me. We want to see those picks.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Everybody else wants to see them. It's making the rounds. Bucs Rays Bolt says, F you, Zach. Happy moved him with what on? I don't know what that means.
Somebody's drinking this morning.
How many plumbers are listed as employees on the MLB website that are Rays employees? We're going to need a lot of plumbers in that place. I'll tell you that. We're having a bit of I didn't see that. Was there a play in the Yankees game too? I missed that one. The umpires blew it. Drew Jetson says, WTF, the second base ump could not have said something. He saw it from a better angle. They could have huddled together and discussed the play. You know what? And that's a great point, Drew.
Yep.
But those umpires knew exactly what we're talking about, and they didn't want to get involved. They knew what happened there.
You just can't have that in baseball. You cannot have that.
They all just trust me. That second base umpire, if you went back and looked at the live tape, I bet he just turned his head and walked away because he knows exactly what happened there.
It's ridiculous.
It's a great question. Why didn't they get together? Because they all knew he blew the call on purpose.
If you're going to blow a call,
I'm sticking to it.
If you're going to blow a call, don't you think you need to pick some closer calls than that to make it not quite so obvious?
Again, he knew they didn't have a challenge.
I know.
Just wanted to send a message. Don't F with me. And, good on Cash for getting out there and keeping Josh alone in the game because I would have lost my brain.
Yeah.
What a great bunt that was, too.
And you should.
Great bunt. Richie P says, Angel Hernandez used to be guilty of holding grudges. Oh, yeah. It got so bad they ran his ass out of baseball. Towards the end, you couldn't tell if it was a grudge or just incompetence. No, that's what I'm saying. This is, for people say, oh, that would never happen in baseball. Angel Hernandez did it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Or 20, and you think he was the only one?
Got away with it.
No.
He was just the most blatant. He was just the most blatant about it.
He didn't care. He was the show. Yeah, and took him 20 years to get rid of that guy.
You know what? And JP, you were talking about you haven't seen a call like that at first base that was that bad this year or in a long time in baseball, whatever it was.
Right.
But you know what I have seen this year in baseball that's very egregious?
What?
Home plate calls. Strikes and balls. We've had some strikes and balls, at least with the Rangers, where we've had called strikeouts on Rangers batters where not one pitch was in the strike zone. Not one single pitch was in the strike zone, and they've struck out looking. It's happened more than once. I mean, it's been bad all across baseball. So I don't know if now it's just extending to the bases or what, but there have been some horrible umpiring performances behind home plate this year.
Well, here's the dossier on Chubby. Bruce Dreckman, first base umpire last night. He's been in the game since 1996.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's longer than we've had baseball.
He umpired in the Appalachian League, so you should go back to.
There you go.
56 years old. Let's go to the ump scorecard here. Get right up in there. Let's see. Because they have umpscorecards.com.
Yes, that is
accuracy behind the plate. He's minus 0.08% accuracy above expected.
No,
so that means
he's one of the better ones.
0.8, negative 0.8%.
Oh, minus 0.8. Okay.
0.8.
So a little less than average.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how to read this, but I'm looking at it except that. His accuracy is 92.6%, which looks like it's well below.
That doesn't seem great.
Yeah, that's well below the average. Like they have a little zone here, and he's well below that. Shocking development. So I'll claim a little bit of ignorance here. I need to know. I can't. Consistency looks like it's well below average.
I would like to know how they compile those numbers.
I think it's based on replay, and
yeah, I'm not disputing it.
I think that might be more for balls and strikes.
But I know Major League Baseball does not use something like that. They have their own internal review system, and they don't let anybody know what it is or how it works.
So this is from SI 14 minutes ago. MLB umpire made worst call of the season on a play that wasn't even close. Then in case you missed it, Rays outfielder Josh Lowe laid down a nice bunt that was fielded by blah, 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 blah. And that shows that he goes, the Rays couldn't challenge. So that's this. Yeah. We'll get some more metrics on it because they have metrics on this on all kinds of things. At some point, and one of you baseball geeks out there, you'll probably know where their website is because they do it with balls and strikes. They'll say, how far outside the ball was that you called, and they'll say this was the worst call of the year. I guarantee you they can measure how far that ball is from the glove, and this will be the worst call of all time at first base or in the top five.
Yeah.
One of you guys find that website and send that stuff to me. Put it on the chat here or just send it directly to me on Twitter or something. It's that bad.
One of you knuckleheads out there, make yourself useful.
I know, and I know who you are. So get on. My interns who are listening and not in the studio today, get on that right away. David Terry says that was an FU call for challenging the first call, or he had a lot of money on the game. I'm not going to go the gambling route, but Ryan says the only call that was worse was the Jim Joyce call. Yep, absolutely, 100%. What else we got here? John Hill says many umpires do not make the call as soon as the play ends. There's usually a 2 or 3 second delay. This guy was well into his punch out. He was already winding it up, and maybe he was a prisoner of inertia. He couldn't stop all that hip movement, that weight shift was he might have
blown out a knee trying to stop himself.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to fat shame.
It's okay. I'm here. I'm fat. I can fat shame.
You fat shame. I'm fat too.
He's a lard ass. I don't know what else to tell you. He clearly his fat rolled up into his eyes because he couldn't see the play.
I am going around it during the show, and you just go full throttle.
Hey man, I'm a big guy. I can do it.
That's right.
If big guys can call out other big guys, it's okay. You know what? If you don't want to be fat shamed, either lose weight or don't blow the call, okay?
Yeah.
For the love of God.
Attention to your fatness.
Just get the call right. Nobody cares that you weigh 380 pounds.
But listen, does that not come into play? That delay was ridiculous in the first. So he's standing out there in the hot sun. Was it sunny? No, I don't think it was. He's still out. It was hot. It's in the 90s. Feels like 95. And Tubby's out there, and they're challenging his call. And the call stands, and he's like, okay. You're gonna make me stand out here like that to challenge my call? Look, I got something for you coming back at you. Makes all the sense in the world.
Just do it on more of a bang bang call than that, okay?
Right.
Come on.
Like my God,
nobody would have ever noticed.
So let's embarrass the hell out of him. If you're gonna make that call, let's put that all over the internet and let everybody see it. Bruce Dreckman. Now, is he calling balls and strikes tonight? Because if he is, The strike zone is going to be really big because Tubby's going to want to get back in the AC as fast as possible.
Well, that's going to suck too because you got to wear the pad, the protection on your chest too, under your
exactly
uniform. It's going to be even hotter.
That's right. Nadia Jordan says, "Good morning, Nadia. Nadia, I think I got that right. Thoughts on International Drive Chamber of Commerce hosting the Dreamers presentation? Yeah, I watched a little bit on that last night, and of course, the TV stations in Orlando are just dripping over themselves, slobbering over the baseball over there, and I'm just like, good luck with that." Actually, I drove by the site yesterday. It's right near Epic Universe, and it's right near the OCC Convention Center, all that area right there, which is just a traffic nightmare. I mean, you want to talk about traffic nightmares? That spot where they have picked out is right in the middle of theme park heaven or hell, however you want to look at that. They have no public. The public officials have not shown any support for this at all. They have they're doing a lot of things right. I want to dump on them, but you're not getting the Rays, and Major League Baseball is not putting an expansion team in 90 miles away or 85 miles away from the Rays that are going to be moving closer to Orlando, in my opinion. I just, I think it's misguided. And again, I mean, where is the data that Orlando can support a Major League Baseball team? And I'm not trying to. The soccer team is not as well supported. It's not supported. It's not in terms of sellouts every night, and they have 17 home games, 81 home games. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I don't see that culture there. It's a theme park culture, and where's the data that people visiting are going to go to baseball games? They don't care about Major League Baseball around the world. It's a very niche sport. Now, South America, yeah. But again, try finding money for baseball tickets after spending $5,000 a day at a theme park. Good luck with that. I mean, will some visit? Absolutely. But if you're counting on that for a majority of your fan base,
that ain't working.
I don't think that's a thing.
No official data on umpire assignments yet for the Rays in Baltimore today.
Okay. All right. But I need that data on how bad of a call that was. Somebody's measuring that in baseball. Some dude in his basement is all over that. Daniel Rivera says, as I understand this correctly, Steinbrenner, I believe, JP, you said could be expanded. Absolutely. It was actually designed that you could add an upper deck quite easily, and it could be expanded. And I think if they were to have to play there for 2 more years as another stadium in Tampa coming online, it's doable. It's 100% doable, and they could add seats. Absolutely.
And you know what?
Cost a hell of a lot more than refurbing the Trop.
And you know what?
A whole lot less.
Yeah, less. The Yankees would benefit from that too because their spring games and stuff and spring training, they could fill those seats up. I think
they probably could.
I think it would hurt anybody. It would, it is. That's why they did it.
Yeah. This is also an excellent point here. What would be the point of putting the Rays on a neutral site so they can play in front of 10,000 fans in a 30K stadium? Yeah, you put them in Miami. You think Miami fans are showing up to see the Rays?
What do they care about the Rays?
They don't care about their own team.
If anything, you're going to get
more. You're going to pay $250 a ticket to go watch the Rays play.
If anything, you're getting more visiting fans for the other team. Come see the other team, right?
Right. Yeah. And you think Rays fans are driving down? And don't forget, these assignments game times are going to be made 48 hours ahead of time, sometimes 36 hours ahead of time.
Yeah.
So 36 hours ahead of time, we're going to be, it's an afternoon game in Lone Depot Park, Rays fans. Buy your tickets now. We couldn't even fill the Trop because of what they did, scheduling and so close. And suddenly we're all going to, get, as B says, jump in the Greyhounds to Little Havana. No, that ain't happening. No. Stay at Steinbrenner Stadium, jack up your prices like I know you're going to do to make up the difference or some of the difference. Sell some tickets in Raymond James Stadium for a watch party, right? Have a tailgate party, sell tickets to the tailgate party. You'll get your revenue back, and there's no way you can move the games. There's no way. Baseball would have such a black, and he's right. Where's the even if it's the World Series, do you think you're going to sell a ton of tickets? I don't.
The all corporate.
Yeah, and if you did, so you're doing it just for the money. So for baseball, you'd rather move the game and take it away from the city that you actually want to stay in long term. Wouldn't you want to say, hey, Tampa Bay, we're going to reward you for, showing up at Steinbrenner Field all year long, even in the heat and the rain? Another sellout last night. Nobody wants to talk about that. When they get 8,000, everybody's yelling and screaming, but another sellout last night. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, the Trop is done. I think so. Christopher Cole says, I don't believe it'll ever be playable again. I don't know. Sure, it could be, but it's going to take a lot of money. Rick says, Tim is correct. That umpire must be from Toronto. Too hot outside. Besides, Lowe shouldn't have tapped his helmet after crossing first base. Did he do that? Did he do the helmet tap? Or so this is so when you do the helmet tap, this is an offense to umpires?
Dude, umpires, that pisses umpires off.
Yeah, we stopped the action here, so we can't see the live action. I mean, I don't think we.
For those that don't know, the helmet tap was during the.
I mean, this isn't even going to be close. It's not.
I love
that ball's not even close to the glove.
Goodness,
he's already. Wow. My goodness, yeah, I can't tell if he tapped his head from that look, but I wouldn't doubt it.
So the helmet tap was the sign that they used when they were doing the automatic balls and strikes. Mm-hmm. The batter would use when he wanted to challenge one of the calls.
And Taylor Walls did it the other day and got thrown out.
Yeah, and umpires take huge exception to that now when you tap your helmet, because it's you're showing up the umpire is what you're doing in their mind.
Yeah. All right. What else we got here? Tom Casper says, by the way, Tropicana Field Electrical was turned on, checking lights, etc. the other day. Oh. Well, there's signs of life then. They turned the electric on. Oh, interesting. So maybe they are putting the money, starting to pour the money into the pit.
So JP, if they did hold a World Series game at Steinbrenner Field, capacity is 11,000. They probably, for World Series and playoffs, they would expand it to what, 15,000 if they had to, you think? If they did that at all?
I keep asking people over there, can you expand it? Can you put in bleachers? I mean, there's room to.
Yeah.
I with today's technology, which you can bring in those portable boxes that they use for golf tournaments and stuff. There's room to put some of those up, I would guess. Left field and right field, there seems to be there would be some room for some temporary stands. But yeah, I think you could add some. But I think you just get creative.
So the lowest ever attended World Series game in the modern era, 6,200 fans in game 1 of the World Series between the Reds and the White Sox in 1919.
Ooh, the Black Sox scandal.
It was.
They must have known it was
6,200 fans. In most recent times, the lowest attended World Series game, so post-World War II, was game 3 of the 2008 World Series at Tropicana Field, where just 18,000 fans were in attendance with a seating capacity of over 40.
Wait, what?
Is that accurate?
That's not accurate. We didn't have an 18th.
No, three of the 2000. This is what it says. Game 3 of the 2008 World Series at Tropicana Field, where just 18,000 fans were present. There's no way that's right.
That's not true. Every one of those World Series games was filled to the gill.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Who is this idiot?
That is not true. That is not true.
I'm going to find out who wrote
I think
this.
I went to game 3 of the World Series there and sat in the upper deck. My kids. Seriously.
That doesn't make sense.
No, those were all filled to capacity. That is completely inaccurate. Now we had last year in the playoff game, we had I think 18,000. I think it was pretty bad. Yeah, Mike H reminded us they took the World Series from us in 2020. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I know. I was at all those games, JP.
Had to be 6 feet apart. Yeah, yes.
I've been to more Rays World Series games than JP has.
Daniel Rivera says the Tampa Bay Sun, congrats to them on their championship. Just posted on X renderings of a new soccer stadium in Ybor. Is this the first shoe to possibly drop on a possible Rays sale? Remember, the Rays also own the Rowdies. Yeah, but does that soccer stadium include a baseball stadium?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you bought the Rays and you had the Rowdies, I think you would want to configure the stadium so you could play your games there. You're right.
But they play during the same time of the didn't soccer
and then eventually
going on?
move it into into the MLS.
Like isn't soccer season going on right now?
Yeah.
So how hard would that be to share a soccer stadium with a baseball stadium? I mean, you've got
I think it would be hard.
Yeah, logistics where they play at the same time.
Yeah, and it's it's a wider field. I think it's a tough fit if I'm not mistaken. Daniel Rivera says the Tampa Bay Business Journal says the Ybor Harbor site will now be the new home of the Tampa Bay Sun and possibly the Rowdies. Oh, interesting. But they don't have a rendering of the stadium, right? If they do, show it to me. So you're saying that the Ybor Harbor site would be off the table? Yeah, I mean, I think that would be great for the Rays. I think that would be the ideal spot. That rendering that they had of a stadium down in Ybor Harbor would be absolutely fantastic. That would be incredible. That whole, and that could again with a reasonable owner, that could have been ours. With a reasonable owner, we'd have been in a new stadium in Ybor 3 years ago, and the roof wouldn't have blown off because it had already been, and the Tropicana Field site would already be redeveloped with residential, big shops, maybe even a Central Park, a beautiful thing, all kinds of stuff that would actually benefit the people of St. Petersburg instead of sucking money out. Thomas Casper says Ybor Harbor, once floated as a potential site for a Major League Baseball stadium, will instead be home to a soccer stadium. That's going to be awesome, but what a waste. It could have been a Major League Baseball site.
What's the soccer support in Tampa? I mean, is there?
I don't know.
Is it the same as everywhere else?
I think.
It's not great. It's not great everywhere, right?
Well, they sold out the the Riverfront Stadium that they built for the ladies soccer team the other day for the championship.
Okay.
They had a great crowd, but I think it's only 5,000. I don't think it's more than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at the support in Orlando, the support for their women's team in Orlando, which is at the top level that, has had Marta and, some of the U.S. ladies national team, some of the biggest names in the sport play there. They draw nothing, hardly anything at all.
Well, JP, you know how here in DFW we build stadiums like they're Starbucks?
Yeah, I know you do.
They just announced, so we had one of the first for the MLS for, at the time, I forgot what they were called. Now the FC Dallas, though, the MLS soccer team that's right across the street from me here. We had one of the first purpose-built, of course, the Hunt family owns it, right? That owns the Chiefs. So they're deep pockets anyway. But so they built this, what's called now Toyota Stadium, way back when, and it hosts the Division II college football national championship game every year. They'll play some bowl games in it, the Frisco Bowl. But it's, a concert venue, they use it for all sorts of things. They just announced like a $250 million renovation for the new Toyota Stadium. And dude, let me tell you something. I'm about to show you some pictures here of what they're doing.
How much?
$250 million to renovate the stadium.
Wow.
It's probably 20 years old.
Yeah.
But I've got some of the, I'll show you a picture of what the finished product. And remember, this is
they're doing this all over the nation, building
soccer.
These stadiums and putting entertainment districts around it. And which as while you're looking for that, as Mark Bresso says, Stu dragging his feet has cost the Rays another perfect stadium site. This guy can't go soon enough. Yeah. I mean, Ybor City was the perfect site. Look,
that's MLS soccer stadium.
Yeah. Well, I've been to the one in Nashville that looks a lot like that, and it's really cool.
And that whole perfect front part on the bottom left, that whole front part right there, that is the World Soccer Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So it's got that built into it, But
and then so we could have had Ybor Harbor, we could have, I mean, imagine that. The renderings on that were just so cool.
I saw those, yeah.
I mean, it's a big entertainment district right there on the water, connected to downtown. Jiminy Christmas. Yep. We could have had all of that if not for this owner. Good God.
0 for 4, as Chris Lotvilla likes to say.
Hunter Tubb says, LOL, soccer stadium in Ybor Harbor over the Rays. Yeah. And that's, they wanted to build a baseball stadium. Like, they've been begging the Rays. But you can't do a deal with them because of the owner. God.
And you're going to miss out on some prime real estate now.
And they're still, and the media just, in this market just drives me nuts on covering this guy. It's just like,
because they're so nice to him.
The damage that he has done. And it's not, and it's, and I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy for pointing it out.
Can we get a GoFundMe so maybe we can just buy the team?
Money's not the issue. There's plenty of money to buy the team. They're offering well above market value, and he won't sell it. He won't get the deal done. Crazy. Shaw talking nonsense about the soccer stadium in Ybor Harbor. It could be another, shot over the bow like, hey, we got one spot left for you, Rays. Major League Baseball. We can't wait forever. Can you just get the deal done so you can have a beautiful Major League Stadium on the water in Tampa where you want it? Like, if you don't get it, let's go. Move it along. I already had to start building in Ybor City. We got one site left if you want it. Down to, or else we're going to build a soccer stadium. Maybe that's what this is. I don't know. So is this the rendering for the Ybor Harbor?
That says Ybor City Soccer. This is from the Tampa Bay Business Journal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
looks like a perfect site for a baseball stadium to me.
What's that?
That looks like the perfect site for a baseball stadium to me.
Well, look up the renderings for Ybor Harbor Baseball Stadium and pop those up. It's gorgeous. We'll do that during the break. We had to hit a break here.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll come back. You got a lot. I'm going to get back to the comments as well. We'll get to the Bucs stuff as well. So, but the comments are coming in. We're going to stay on this topic, and we'll just, because this is kind of breaking news of the soccer stadium. By the way, I'm all for a soccer stadium. I'm all, would love that as well. That looked awesome. But could we do something a little bit bigger and better? That's the point, right? All right, we're brought to you by the great folks of the Gold and Diamond Source. It is June. That means we got some great new birthstones, moonsite, absolutely beautiful pearl, amethyst, great stuff. Get 15% off if you shop online, goldanddiamond.com. And always, if you're looking for that ring, you got to go to the Gold and Diamond Source. Julie and Steve Weintraub, another great local company that does great things in our locality, in our community. They love the Rays. They would love to see them in Tampa in a big stadium. Absolutely. Gold and Diamond Source is the place to go. Go get your, if you screwed up for Father's Day, all right, you want to get it, you go buy something there for him. He'll love that. Goldanddiamond.com is the website. We will take a break. Be back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. We told you about the amazing Diamond Savings Account where your diamond never loses its value. Well, now, through the end of May, the Gold and Diamond Source will double your trade-in value up to $2,500. Just bring in your jewelry to trade, and your $2,500 piece turns into $5,000. It's time to upgrade that ring, earrings, whatever. We have gemologists on site to make the deal. Double your trade value up to $2,500. Get you $5,000 to spend. So go through your jewelry box and get that stuff you never wear and get something new and stylish that you're going to love. Great experience, and we will double your trade-in now till the end of May. We can finance you as well. No interest for 5 years, only at the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state, or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections. We'll check the refrigerant for manufacturer's performance levels, test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing and AC. Get your tune-up for the summer, even though summer is here. Make sure that everything's working right so you don't get that call from the wife. Well, the air conditioner's not working. You do not want that. So tune it up right now. Make sure everything's in line. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. John Rodriguez is the proprietor over there. If anything goes wrong, he will make it right. So give him a call. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com is the website. They do AC and anything mechanical in your home that you need. You have a friend in the business. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. All right, but there's a lot of comments on this going on, so we got to get right to it. Yeah, we saw the renderings. Let me put that up again. Oh, this is the old baseball.
Here's the baseball one. Yeah. Oh, you want to see the soccer one? Yeah, there you go.
That's beautiful. Look at a high press box, and you got there. It's kind of shoehorned in there a little bit. Buildings, you know. Look at all that. Look at all these apartments, condos, residential over here to the upper left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That is a money.
And then here's the baseball one that I found.
The baseball footprint. God, love that. They got some other pictures on that too. That would just, look at that. Are you kidding me? Right there on the water. Oh, if only we had an owner. If only. Jeez, old Pete.
Goodness.
Just, do we have any idea what we've missed out on because of this dude?
You need to get my buddy Chuck Greenberg on to say, why can't you make an offer on the Rays?
Yeah.
He used to be a part of the partnership that owned the Rangers, and then he owns the Frisco Rough Riders, our AA affiliate down the road, owns the stadium, owns all of it. He's a really good dude. He's got a lot of insight, man. Talk about a guy that fell into stadium ownership and team ownership. He's an attorney from Pittsburgh, right? He started working for a company that when Mario Lemieux got drafted, Mario's attorney put him in touch with his attorney firm to manage his finances and stuff, right? And Chuck just happened to work there. Chuck and Mario became very good friends. They're still very good friends today. When Mario Lemieux bought the Penguins, he offered Chuck, he's like, hey, man, do you want in on this ownership group? You know, it'll cost you this much, whatever, and here's whatever. Became part of that ownership group, and he got addicted to like sports ownership, right? That's his passion now. he owns other minor league teams across the country, and then he got involved with the Rangers in the 2000s as part of that group. The team went into before he was involved with it. The team went into bankruptcy. And then had to go to court to sell. And then Chuck was part of the ownership group that was fighting with Nolan Ryan's ownership group.
Oh, right.
So if you remember all that going on, well, obviously Nolan Ryan's ownership group won, but Chuck retained possession of, the minor league stuff that he owns with him and all that stuff. And he's just a really good guy. But, man, that is his passion, man. He's just talking to him about it. It's like talking about his kids.
Yeah.
Just, he owns the stadium.
I would think it'd be interesting to say if you were on the path that Stu Sternberg was, what would you have done with the Rays in Tampa? Like what would you have envisioned? And where would you have put the stadium, and what timeline would you have been working on with Major League Baseball? Yeah, I guarantee you I would
get him on. Yeah.
Yeah, I would see I would have done that Tampa Bay deal in 2018. Yeah, as 800, it was 900 million at the time. Fully with a roof and everything right there in Ybor City. Great location.
That is insane.
Out on the water. I would have preferred the Ybor Harbor thing myself.
Right.
But again, I don't think this might be a shot over the bow of the Rays and MLB to say, look, Daryl Shaw say, look, this is your last chance. Get this freaking deal done. If you still want this site, it's still available. Otherwise, this is what we're moving forward with. And I don't blame him. I still got to get Daryl on the show. And Randak says the MLB Umpires Union is very strong. No matter how loud fans protest, it ultimately falls in the lap of baseball itself. The league needs to start dealing out suspensions if they want things to change. But again, you see a lot of good young umpires in this league, and I think they're weeding out these old guys that just do crap like this.
Yeah, and the bad part is they kind of have to wait for a lot of these guys for their contracts to expire. They don't have because of the Umpires Union, they don't have the ability really to just push them out. They just have to wait.
And Thomas brings up a great what soccer team only the Rowdies in MLS could fly in a stadium like that. I don't think you could be just counting on the Tampa Bay Sun to fill up that stadium. I don't think. I don't want to diminish their support or anything like that, but I think that's a tough sell. Again, the Orlando Pride has had many ladies national team members on it. They don't draw. They're not filling the stadium like the national team does.
JP, do you have any insight?
They would have to get the Rowdies as well, and they are owned by the Rays.
In the old 2020 XFL, the old original return of the XFL when they had the Tampa Bay Vipers, okay? I covered the Renegades, of course, pretty exclusively back then, and we did pretty well here in Arlington. And I remember the Vipers were there, and when the league folded and then reorganized and reopened in 2023, I know they excluded Tampa. Do you remember anything about attendance, or did they get any support? Because, if they build a new soccer stadium over there, and it's a great setting,
they could put an XFL team in there.
They could bring a UFL team back because they're already talking about expansion, and Tampa is a major market, obviously, and you get a nice stadium like that, it would certainly draw a UFL expansion franchise. So maybe that's just another option.
Well, think about this. If Daryl Shaw were part of the group, and there have been, just the rumors, if he was part of the group that were bringing the Rays over here, then that they would also be purchasing the Rowdies. This could be a separate stadium. So if you had a Rowdies and the Sun and maybe a UFL team as well, okay, not to mention all the, and that became an amphitheater for concerts as well, because our current amphitheater is ass. The one out in the.
Is that right?
Oh, God, yes. If you built something that was acoustically good and outdoors like that in that area, it would be so much better than what we have. Oh, my God. It's like, wouldn't even be close. You would take all that business, like, without question, because you'd have all the luxury boxes. I mean, the VIP thing at the state fairgrounds is just thatched roof. It's so bad. It's so bad, But whatever.
Deserves better.
So there's an opening there. I mean, that's the mid-sized concert opening, outdoor amphitheater. You'd kill it. You'd absolutely kill it there. So yeah, think about this. If there was, and Daryl was part of the Rays group, the Rowdies would play over here, and then where would the baseball stadium be? Next to Raymond James. Part of the huge development that may go in there that would pair up with the baseball stadium being part of a football stadium renovation. Could be something. Or if you're putting the baseball stadium at the fairgrounds, which has been talked about, then you would need a new amphitheater. And you know, baseball stadium may not be able to double as a soccer stadium. I don't think you can do a football stadium. They do that in Mercedes-Benz. The Atlanta team draws better than the Falcons. So yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the Rays aren't coming to Tampa like many of you are saying. They're coming to Orlando. We got an Orlando Knoll guy in here I haven't not seen before. Let me see what we have here. Orlando Rays. I think your avatar says it all. Orlando Rays. Rays just lost Ebor. Maybe they don't want Ebor.
Maybe they have other plans.
Smart guy. Rick says, breaking news, the Morgan Brazil Stadium coming soon to Orlando. John Morgan and Brody Brazil teaming up. No.
So JP, I've been doing image searches here.
Yeah.
For the stadium and the situation in Tampa, and I came across this interesting thumbnail here. Maybe you could explain to me who, when, where, what this is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did on the Tampa Bay Developer podcast, very popular local broadcast. Yeah, we did.
Okay. All right.
We did 2 hours on this stuff. Basically, everything regurgitating everything we say on this show. Sure. It was very popular. I think it was their most popular episode ever.
Well, of course it was. Yeah, of course it was.
And if it's not, I said it is.
I just hadn't seen that. I was just like, oh, I know.
No, it was very well received. Very well received. We had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, saying a lot of the stuff that we say here,
sure,
that maybe others haven't been. That's a whole nother audience that he has.
Sure,
does a great job with it. He had Daryl Shaw on there, so I'm going to get Daryl on this show, and we'll really get into some fun stuff. I think he knows I know too much. He's like, no.
I don't know if I want to go on that show or not.
Well, we don't, because I really feel like, they're getting close to the finish line on that deal, and that's why everything's been so quiet. And it's another reason why you haven't heard from the other groups, the Joe Malloy group, the Carter McCain group, some of these other groups that have, they were very vocal in the beginning. Well, they know that they're being, I'm going to say squeezed out, but as we said from that very beginning, there is another group, the quote unnamed group that the Major League Baseball favors, that wants the team, has the money, all that stuff. So hopefully, again, if Stu will get the hell out of the way and take his $2 billion profit and just go away, we could get this thing done. Lonnie Wilkins says testing the lights in the electrical at Tropicana Field must have been like the scene in Close Encounters when they're communicating with that mothership, playing different sounds, right? Like, all right, I'm going to hit light 5. Tell me if it comes on. Yeah. I get you it's been topless for how many, 6 months now?
Oh yeah.
Damage in there. Just
October, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this World Series attended Tropicana Field. Game 1, 40,000. Game 2, 40,000. Yeah, there was no 18,000.
I don't know where that came from.
You can't believe everything.
No. It's on the internet. It has to be true.
Right, exactly. Richie B says, I like soccer, but I've not been to a game in 5+ years for whatever that's worth. Yeah, it's not a huge. I mean, the Rowdies draw pretty well at Al Lang, but I think it's only, when I say pretty well, they fill up the stadium. It's like 5,000 to 7,000, if I'm not mistaken. And they do, that's a great setup over there at Al Lang. The Rowdies do great over there, and they have a great atmosphere. To me, that's like perfect. Now, if they move up to MLS, that's a different deal. Richie P says the location for the Sun is awesome and would have a full schedule for concerts, college tourneys, and whatever else you can fit in a medium-sized stadium. Yeah, absolutely. It would take all the business from the amphitheater that we have now. Hats off to Daryl Shaw for pushing the issue and will be a moneymaker if the Rays, as everything else he does. Absolutely. Yeezy says JP Rays fans have discovered the Rays social media admin is actually AI. Another payroll off the books for Stu. Is that true?
There's no way.
No, I mean, you gotta have.
I mean, that's funny.
Yeah, probably true though. Richie P says, wait a minute, I'm looking at Daryl Shaw's drawings, and is that effing pool at the stadium? Shaw doesn't F around. Is there a pool there? Pop that thing back up.
Which one was that?
The soccer stadium, the other one, the new one. This one. Is there a pool? Where's there a pool? I don't see it. I don't see that's the water in Ybor Harbor. You're saying that. Out to the right?
Yeah, on the left, the top left of the stadium, that little blue area. Is that a pool?
Oh, yeah. Oh, like a rooftop bar.
Yeah.
Rooftop pool bar. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see where he's looking.
Yeah. Look at down to the right. To the right of the stadium, there looks like a water feature, like a canal. Is that or is that a lazy river?
Lazy river going into
what do we got there?
That's
cool. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like, that whole left side there. One left side, the front facing side of the stadium. I'm guessing is going to be all, bars and restaurants on that side.
Overlooking the
connected
water.
to the stadium, overlooking the water. Cool. This could all be part of a baseball stadium.
Could be. Including the lazy river.
Thank you, Stu.
Big fan of lazy rivers.
Yeah, so maybe that is a swimming pool. So the rooftop bar swimming pool. Hello.
I'm going to have to lose some weight before I go see a soccer game. Get my summertime body in.
Yeah, Daniel says we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like I said, if Daryl Shaw is part of this Rays group that's buying the Rays and the Rowdies, and he's like, oh, cool, because I think he knows he can't build a soccer-only stadium just for the Sun. That's not going to play. You'd have to know that he has the Rowdies too. That makes financial sense. There's no way he could build that just for the Sun. Now, could he purchase the Rowdies separately from the Rays? I guess. But if you're part of the Rays group buying the Rowdies and you already have a, baseball stadium somewhere else, so this is just and you're part of that group too, that makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? We're just connecting the dots, having some fun here. That makes all the sense in the world. Like, okay, we're going to get the Rowdies too, but we don't necessarily want to have them, playing at the same time the Rays are playing. And to configure the stadium and change it around for matches, like, are there any baseball stadiums that host MLS? I don't think so. I don't think that's
a imagine. Yeah, I can't.
I don't think you could do that. So you'd have to have a separate stadium, and then you could put those two soccer teams in there, plus make it the amphitheater. Yeah, that all works. That's brilliant. That works. And you know what? He's a pretty smart guy. So I don't think that could exist just with the Sun. So maybe put those together.
So Tampa doesn't have an MLS team, correct?
No, we have
the Rowdies are in that USL.
Yeah, Super League.
And then the Sun is they're the women's league. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
USL is what's his face is part of now, right?
Dan Lucas.
Dan Lucas, yes, thank you. Yeah.
All right, we'll get him on and have him talk about it.
Yeah.
Bill Madden says, I always remember how the big dog loved soccer. He did. He did love his soccer. Absolutely. And I don't know if MLS would put a team here with Orlando right down the road. Same thing with the Rays and Orlando. I don't know if that would ever be a thing, but it could be. I mean, I don't know how an MLS team would do. That'd be a lot for this market to.
That's three professional soccer teams in the city limits.
Well, I think the Rowdies and the Sun, and then you're talking about Orlando.
No, I mean if you added a MLS team to Tampa,
right?
Then you have got three professional soccer teams in the city limits, right?
No, I think the Rowdies. If you were talking about the Rowdies, would move up to MLS. They wouldn't be.
Oh, okay, I got
separate team.
Okay,
yeah, that's what I would think. That
do they do that? I mean, I know they do that.
They tried to do it a couple of years ago, and they got denied. So I think
is that a thing
though? The last MLS
that?
Expansion, they were part of that. They were trying to get that last MLS expansion that went to, I forget where the other two new teams went. But they were denied that.
Huh. Okay. I don't know how soccer works. So I'm a newbie with all this.
Yeah, Michael LaRue says downtown Tampa, Ybor Harbor, and West Shore are all out. What locations are left? Dale Mabry, next to Bucs Stadium. Yep.
To me, that's the most no-brainer spot ever. Where the old sombrero was. Just put it right there.
I agree. And if you could, we joke about the sliding roof. Like, why can't you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, technology these days, you can do that. And they need, in this Bucs, renovation, they have waited a long time to go to the TSA and ask them for stuff. And maybe that's because they're waiting to see how this deal turns out with the Rays. And I know the Glazers know the people that are trying to buy the Rays extremely well. And the Glazers are also doing this huge new stadium for replacing Old Trafford for Manchester United. So they're getting into the stadium development business. It would just make sense for them to do the same thing in Tampa. It makes all the sense in the world. A burgeoning real estate market where you can buttress all the development that you would have in condominiums. I mean, you build 2 or 3 condominiums on that site right now. It doesn't have the cachet that it would have if you built a huge entertainment district in a baseball stadium,
right,
and an amphitheater, or what else you have there. Right. And there's plenty of room to do it. And you don't, and the infrastructure cost goes. You don't need infrastructure because it's already there for the baseball stadium. You'd have to do some, but it's already there for a baseball stadium. And if you wanted to, what about the Yankees? Well, you know what? You could knock down Legends Field, Steinbrenner Field right there, and that could be parking for this other one because the Yankees could play their in the big stadium. The Rays would let them. I don't know. You could do that or just keep it next door, whatever you want to do. But to me, it makes all the sense in the world. So, and again, what doesn't make sense to me is Orlando having a baseball team. It doesn't make any sense.
I just don't think that's ever going to be a thing.
No,
not with the Rays.
The HSN side looking better every day near Bridge and Top Golf may add Dave and Buster's. Problem is, it's still in Pinellas County, and Pinellas County is not the middle of the market. It's not a place. If you're going to build a huge entertainment district, you want it in the middle of the market. So I just don't think that's going to happen. So, all right, that's a great discussion. We kind of hit that. So let's take another break. We'll come back and we'll get into the Bucs and some of the other stuff that's going on. Maybe we'll talk a little U.S. Open, Tampa Bay Sun as well. That's a part of the discussion. And some of the other national stories last night. We'll hit those as well. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Make sure you have your flood insurance. Make sure you have your business insurance. 30-day waiting period for flood insurance. So before we get all dialed up into hurricane season, get it now. Make that call and let them shop around all your insurance needs. They could save you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. They did it for me. For my auto insurance last time around, ItalianoInsurance.com is the website. Another great local company, been in business for over 40 years, actually 60 years here in the Tampa Bay area. Great folks. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans and huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
And welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the great folks of the G's Law Group. Coming to you from the G's Law Group studio at onsiteconstructionfl.com. If you're looking for a contractor and you have restoration that needs to be done to go from a hurricane, or you want to add on or build from scratch, onsiteconstructionfl.com is the place to go. Over 20 years experience, over 1,400 jobs here locally. Go to the website, get there. 5-star Google reviews, and check out what could be possible for you and get that free consultation. Jason Fawcett, the owner, will come over himself, take a look at your house and say, if you want to add on, this is what you could do. If you were something maybe with hurricane preventiveness that you could do for your house as well. Lots of things they can do. So check them out at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Hey, JP, I put some interesting photos here together real quick during the break.
Okay.
I would just like to remind everybody that there is room for 2 stadiums right there where the Bucs, where Raymond James Stadium is. So I have a shot here from, I believe this is 1984.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you've got, of course, where the sombrero was, and then there was an old baseball stadium.
Yeah, that's Al Lopez Field right there.
Yeah, Lopez Field is right there and so here's the modern day photo of what's there now.
Right.
So there's plenty of room there.
Yeah, then the circle you see at the top is the footprint of the old sombrero.
Yeah, you can see it right there when you switch back and forth. They still have the circle drive around it where the old sombrero was. So
yeah,
there's
parking to the north. Yeah, and then right in the middle there, if you wanted to put the entertainment district in the middle there, you could do that. Build that
roof that slides over both.
The roof that slides over both of them. Absolutely. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And then go back to the see to the right of that. There's big parking lot to the right. Upper right. That's the Publix parking lot that the Glazers own. Further to the right is One Buck Place.
Right.
So you could see where, that whole area right there, and you could probably, pave, make redirect Himes Avenue right there, and kind of, because you could do that and add more room to the right side of that. And this could be, the entertainment district could be over here to the right, where when you just have, bridges that come over, or you could put it in the middle. It could be part of a superstructure that you could use for, major games. Either one would work, but you definitely have the area there. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot that can be done in that area. And then and it's more accessible from the north and the south. I mean, for Bucs games, I don't know why, but because I think it's because there's so many surface roads in and out of that area that it never seems to be a ton of traffic that come in and out of there. I mean, there's not, I've been to other stadiums where you're in traffic for 3 or 4 hours getting out of NFL stadiums, but the Bucs seem to have it down pretty good. The people know where they're going, they get in and out, and it works really, really well. Speaking of the Bucs, so I want to talk a little bit about the Bucs roster. Now the OTAs are over, like free agency is done. For the most part, this is the roster you're going to have moving forward. Now, I looked at some of the different sites, and typically the Bucs have been rated, from as high as 8 to as low as 15. PFF has, and I think they did the most comprehensive roster look, it's pretty good. And they have the Bucs at 10th as the 10th best roster. And I think what they write about that is, with the addition of the dynamic Bucky Irving to the team's backfield, the Buccaneers boasted one of the NFL's most balanced offenses last season. They ranked among the top 9 teams in passing grade, rushing grade, receiving grade, pass blocking grade, etc. Biggest weakness in 2024, pass defense. Obviously, they were ranked 28th and 18th in pass rush grade, not good, and 28th in total passing defense. Now, obviously, this is what they've addressed most in the offseason. And don't forget, they're getting Antoine Winfield back as a healthy player. And, he is, in my mind, when he's healthy, top 5 safety in the game. And Tyke Smith moving to safety as well. Although if you watched OTAs, you got a lot of positionless things going on in the secondary. And I think they're going to use 5 defensive backs a lot of the time. And those 5 defensive backs are going to be Antoine Winfield, Jamel Dean, Tyke Smith, who I thought had a great year, right? And then you have Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum. And I think Zion's emerging as one of the better corners in this league. And the more confidence he gets, the better he's going to be. Big guy. And then you bring in Benjamin Morrison and Parrish, these 2 rookies who I think have impressed tremendously well. And Benjamin Morrison really hasn't been able to do as much as he could, but he's even already recovered from that hip injury. You just watch the way he moved out there. He's going to be, and then go back and watch his tape. He's a bona fide, he may have been, if healthy, the best corner in the draft. And you project him to be healthy, and he's physical and he's long. I mean, you've got a bunch of guys, right? And I'm going to throw Christian Izien in there as well. I think he's one of the best tacklers in the open field. Yeah. I love the way that guy plays, and I think he's just getting better. Because we tend to forget about him because he was undrafted. There's safeties, Shiloh Sanders, and there's a bunch of guys that could be really good players. I don't know if Shiloh's going to make the team right away, but they've revamped that secondary, and they're going to be much more aggressive. That's the thing that I love the most. So when you talk about the biggest weakness in this roster, have they improved it? No question about it. Now, add the pass rush. And I just think Hassan Reddick is just going to totally remake that whole deal. With him and remember, Diaby's numbers in terms of pressures were among the best in the league. And now you keep him on the right side. You have Reddick coming from where they got very little production from the left side outside last year. Very little production. And if what they say about Chris Braswell is true, and there's no reason to think it's not, his body looked different to me in OTAs. He looked stronger. He looked bigger. He looked more fit. His attitude, you could tell that, he admitted openly he was just overwhelmed and he was overthinking everything last year. And that's why he didn't play as well as they had hoped. So I do think when Jason Light and Todd Bowles talk about him being unlocked for year 2, I got to believe him. I think that's going to be a difference. So the fact that they've addressed all their roster deficiencies, Chris Godwin, PFS mentions him as kind of an X factor. As they write, Godwin was potentially on his way to the best NFL season before suffering a season-ending injury in Week 7 against Baltimore that never should have happened. Oh, wait, I added that.
Yeah.
It's 85.
Trying to win the game, JP.
What's that?
They're trying to win the game.
All right, yeah.
Yes.
Now, 3 scores with 5 minutes left. Yeah, as he haven't stopped their offense all game long. Right. Got a good shot. Keep everybody in there. Let's go. Still just 29 years old with 8 excellent seasons under his belt, Godwin has a chance to add even more firepower to an offense that surged down the stretch. And they mentioned as a rookie to watch Benjamin Morrison, who I could not agree with more. So they've got them as the 10th best roster. So teams ahead of them, the Denver Broncos at 9. They have an elite defense. There's no question they have top 3 defense in the league, maybe even better. And they drafted Barron in the first round, the corner, maybe the best corner in the draft. Now, their offensive weaponry is listed as their biggest weakness. I agree with that. Now, they've added tight end Evan Ingram, and they added R.J. Harvey, the running back from UCF, who I love.
Yep.
Love that cat. So I think it's a really good, you look at their defense. Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, linebackers, Pat Surtain, maybe the best corner in the game. Up front, they've got, their defensive line up front is interesting. Nick Bonito at edge, Zach Allen and DJ Jones inside. But here you go. Their wide receiver room. Cortland Sutton, Devon Vele, I don't even know this dude. Marvin Mims Jr., that ain't scaring anybody. Bo Nix in that passing game, to me, it's a passing league. They're far from elite in passing. You compare that to what the Bucs are. Now, the Broncos have a better defense, but I think the Bucs defense takes a jump. So, do I think the Broncos have a better, and then quarterback, Baker Mayfield v. Bo Nix. I know Bo Nix had a nice rookie year, but adjustments will be made. I do not think the Denver Broncos have a better roster than
Did you say you didn't know who Marvin Mims Jr. is?
No, this other guy they got written here, Devon Vele.
Okay.
Do you know who he is?
He's a journeyman. Yeah, no, he's nothing. He's your fourth string. He's your fourth
starters. Yeah,
yeah, but he's a fourth. He's a wide receiver 4 at best.
I know who Chris Godwin is. The Minnesota Vikings listed at 8. Again, their overall roster is really good. Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They have a great TJ Hawkinson, a tight end. Now they've boosted their offensive line at guard and center with Kelly and Freeze. But their defense, I think, is still
sketchy.
They've got some aging stars like Harrison Smith at the back end. I don't think it's, and again, it's JJ McCarthy. You want to look at the overall rosters, it's great, but I'm giving a lot of weight. Like if I want to look at a roster, like how much weight are you giving to the starting quarterback?
You should give a ton.
Like percentage wise, how important? 50%
out of the offense or the whole team?
Whole team. Because that wins and losses, a lot rides on the quarterback's
35% at minimum.
35%
at minimum.
Yeah. I would agree. So when you have JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix v. Baker Mayfield, like the rest of your roster has to be head and shoulders above the Bucs for me to rank them above.
Sure.
Fair?
Yeah.
Because I think you have such an advantage at quarterback there. So I would not put either the Denver Broncos or the Vikings, who are 9-8 according to PFF, above the Buccaneers. Well, so I'm moving them up.
Look what your quarterback can do for you on a team that's otherwise uncertain. Look at the Broncos last year was a perfect example. Nobody knew what to expect out of Bo Nix last year. I didn't expect anything out of him at all, and I still really don't for a career. But he kind of caught on last year, and he took the Broncos to the playoffs. So
A lot of that's Sean Payton. And
No,
that's why
absolutely.
I thought Bo Nix would have a chance. When they drafted him, I was like, I know the scouts don't think Bo Nix is a slam dunk guy. But if Sean Payton thinks that much of him, then I think he's got a shot.
Which shocked me.
And he had a lot of starts in college. 5 years of starting in college in the SEC and out west, and was very, very successful.
The problem is I never really watched him out west, but I watched him a lot at Auburn, and he just stunk up the joint at Auburn. I thought I was not impressed with him at all in the SEC.
I was impressed with him at times, but it seems when he got good coaching and didn't play against great defenses.
Right. Just like everybody else.
He got a lot better. But then I'm like, okay, if Sean Payton sees something in him to draft him so highly, there's something there. He knows something. And so I think, will he be Drew Brees? No. Well, could he be close to that? I don't know.
So the same thing, though, can be said for J.J. McCarthy. Like, I don't think that highly of J.J. McCarthy, and especially coming off of an ACL. But you know what? If Kevin O'Connell sees something in him, then I have to sort of acquiesce to Kevin O'Connell because he knows his quarterbacks, right? Kind of the same thing. And I don't think Kevin O'Connell is Sean Payton yet, but he knows his quarterback. So if he thinks
you're going to get rid of Sam Darnold,
right? He not only was okay to get rid of Sam Darnold, but he was also okay to say no to everybody else, including Aaron Rodgers, to go with J.J. McCarthy. So he sees something there. That's got to give, if you're a Vikings fan, at least a little bit of confidence, right? But we'll see it on the field. But there's no way I put a team like the Vikings ahead of the Bucs.
Yeah, I don't see it. All right, and they got the Houston Texans at 7.
Oh, that is really high.
I think.
Wow.
No. Now they do have they mentioned their pass defense, the best edge pairing in the league with Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. And they got Stingley Jr. and Lassiter at corner. So yeah, their pass defense is outstanding, no question.
Well, their overall defense is going to be good because D'Amico Ryans is a defensive head coach and he knows his defense.
But their offensive line is their biggest weakness.
Yep.
How can you have the 7th best roster in the league and have a substandard offensive line? To me, when you're talking about rosters, that's the first place I go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first place because if you have a good offensive line, you got a chance. To me, that makes your quarterback a crap ton better. That makes your running game so much better. It allows you to control the game with the running game.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Buccaneers. Their offensive line so much more improved last year. And that's why they went from dead last to 4th in the league in rushing.
Right.
And had one of the most and that helped Baker Mayfield immensely. So if you have a substandard offensive line, how can you have the 7th best overall roster? You must have the greatest offense in the history of offenses and a super good quarterback. Okay, well, C.J. Stroud was good in his rookie year, not so much last year. You know why? Because his offensive line was awful. Now, have they made it better? They lost Jeremy Tunsil to the Commanders, their left tackle.
Right,
now,
and before all this happened, though,
Cam Robinson, but okay.
Before all this happened, Nick Caserio, like, that's all he did was pay attention to the offensive line before they drafted C.J. Stroud. And that's why C.J. Stroud was good, because he spent darn near $120 million just on the offensive line to protect Stroud his rookie season. Well, now those guys have aged. Tunsil's gone.
They've lost guys, yeah.
The big guy out of Texas A&M that they drafted, I can't remember his name because they've traded him to the Eagles now because he's always hurt. He's gone. So a lot of those guys have gotten old, and now the offensive line, and you've still got all these guys under contract.
Yeah.
But and now they all suck. So that is the biggest question mark, and because that is what makes CJ Stroud successful. That was the case at Ohio State.
Yeah.
That was the case his rookie year in Houston. And if I don't care what kind of defense you've got, if you can't protect your quarterback, who is a quarterback that needs to be protected, then you're not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah,
and they have a huge problem.
I don't have Houston. I don't know. A lot of this goes by grades for PFF. They just add up all the grades of the players.
Right.
Now you got to understand. You got to look at who they're playing because they're getting these grades against, maybe substandard competition. So that's a little iffy. So I'm just looking at effective units, and maybe I got a little bit of pewter glasses going on, but I don't see the Houston Texans ranking above the Buccaneers in terms of roster. I've got 3 teams in front of them that PFF has ranked, and another, I see this kind of consistently across the board in other rankings. I don't get it.
Who do they have playing running back for the Texans right now?
Joe Mixon.
And who's behind Joe Mixon?
They don't
Nick
have a
Chubb.
second.
Nick Chubb.
Right. They just signed
Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
So
the gray beard.
Joe Mixon's got nothing.
I disagree. Joe Mixon, I've had him on my fantasy team for a while. He's done great.
Well, okay, but behind that offensive line?
Well, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Again,
right.
How do you say an overall roster is so great when the offensive line is so substandard?
And it's so important. Yeah.
I don't get that.
I don't have the Texans in my top 10.
CJ Stroud, I think, is going to be a really good quarterback, but you got to do it for more than 1 year. You can't fall off that much and then me say, oh, but he's still great. I got to see a little bit more consistency before I put him in that upper echelon. All right, then they have the Rams at number 6. The Rams. Now,
with a 52-year-old quarterback.
Right? Now they got Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. No more Cooper Kupp. So,
you're replacing Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams, though. So, I mean, that's a plus, right?
That's an upgrade. Yeah, I think a little bit of an upgrade. But, Devontae, this is the year that he looks old? I don't know.
Yeah. Without Aaron throwing him the ball?
Right. And it's a different system, but a good one. You got a good coach. So, I'm not going to sit here and say the Rams aren't going to be good offensively. But, okay, just from a roster standpoint, their biggest weakness, what do they mention again? Pass protection.
Yeah.
Again, with the offensive line. They lost 7 of 11 games when they failed to hit the mark of 62.5 pass blocking grade. So, Matthew Stafford has always been a great runaround kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But he's getting a little old. How much punishment can he take?
More injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And rookie to watch they have as their edge rusher, Josiah Stewart. Obviously, with Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, the two FSU guys, have remade their defense. Yep. Their defense it's gotten a lot better. But again, I look up and down this roster. Their defense: Kobe Turner, edge. Braden Fisk, Puna Ford up front, Jared Verse. It's good. It's a good front line, and Young, Brian Young on the edge. Byron Young, sorry. Linebackers: Omar Spates, Troy Reader. Okay. It just I don't see them again as now their quarterback. Is Matthew Stafford better than Baker Mayfield? Yeah, I definitely say he is.
Right now? You think he is right now? Like, I know historically he is, but
he's still. he played so good in the playoffs. He carried that team.
He's 37 years old, man.
I know. But again, so they have. So is it crazy? Now you go above that. The Buffalo Bills at 5. That's a great roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great.
That might be kind of low for the Bills for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So they got the Bills at 5. They have the Chiefs at 4. Again, they won a lot of one score games last year, like 12 in a row. They were 12-0. Did they pick, they've made some nice additions. Pacheco, I think, and Hunt are fantastic. Xavier Worthy coming on, Hollywood Brown, Kelsey's getting old, obviously. Mm-hmm. Chris Jones anchors the defense. I look at all these rosters. I say, are they markedly better than the Buccaneers?
I don't see it.
Yeah. So if you have the Bucs at 10, then they have the Lions at 2. Then they have the Ravens at, Lions at 3, Ravens at 2, and the Eagles at 1. I'm not gonna argue with any of those. But when I look at these rankings,
give me the top 5. Who are the top 5?
Eagles, Ravens, Lions at 3, Chiefs at 4, and the Bills at 5.
I might argue that the Bucs have a better roster than the Chiefs right now.
I would too.
Top to bottom, offense and defense.
I would too.
So
I'm giving you some allowances for my pewter and red glasses here, and I'm going to say I think this is I've said that I think it's a top 6 roster.
Easy.
And I think if you look at that, we just laid out, I could even go 5. I could go 5, but I'm going to say top 6 roster in the league. So if this team does not do better than losing in the first round,
that's on the coach.
It's on the coaching staff. 100%. 1,000%. If they lose at home again in the first round, which I don't think is discussed enough about how poorly you underachieved with that roster last year. I think.
Oh, for sure.
I think you underachieved.
Yeah, and so just to tease a little bit for tomorrow, JP, I'm going to offer my weakest link on the Bucs roster. And what would have to happen to see – I think Todd Bowles is already on the hot seat to enter the season. He's on the hot seat. Now that we know they're not going to make a change midseason, that won't happen. No. But I'm also going to offer what would have to happen for Bowles to completely lose this thing. I'll talk about all of that tomorrow for you guys.
Good tease.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for us today. Thank you guys for jumping in. Great stuff. As always, we'll do a little bit more as we digest the breaking news today about the new soccer stadium Daryl Shaw is proposing. And I will do my best to get him on the show. Seems like a good time for it. Let's talk about it. Thank you to all of our sponsors. As always, Riveters Italiano, Golden Diamond On-Site Construction, Third Generation Plumbing, Cafe Paradiso, the Jeeves Law Group, and Don'tGoUncovered.com. Have a great day, everybody. Go Rays, and we'll see you tomorrow.